Welcome back to another Living Football Skills tutorial. I'm Joe, and today we're going to have a look at the Neymar feint step over chop. I'm going to show you 3 variations of the skill. Variation number 1 includes a nutmeg, passing the ball through the legs of the player. Professionals only use that skill very rarely and only in very specific situations. That's why I'm going to show you two other variations that you're more likely to use, so you stay flexible and don't rely on the nutmeg, which can look very bad if you lose the ball. Let's get straight into it. The skill itself looks like this. Bend your knees and then either your left or your right foot, touch the ball slightly. As soon as you give the ball a little push, you step over, and as soon as the ball rolls further, you pass it through the legs of the player. So it looks like this. And then you pass it through the legs of the players. Now, a couple of critical factors if you want to do the nutmeg skill against a good player. Okay, number 1, make sure you're gonna do the first feint movement into the running direction of your opponent. So if your opponent comes diagonally from here, you're gonna do the skill this direction. So he keeps using his energy further there. Then he gets stuck because he thinks you step over, and in that moment, you chop the ball through his leg diagonally across, because his movement is gonna look like this. He's gonna come, then you stop, and then he has his legs open and you push it through. But be aware, you have to be in a really good spot to do that, because very rarely a player on a high level, a professional player, just keeps running straight through and stops. That might happen if you're somewhere in the corner of the field. You dribble close, the player comes, he sees you have nowhere to go. He comes close, step, step, push, and then you go through. In terms of execution, for this trick, it's very crucial that you're not too far on top of the ball. When you do the skill, you want to lean backwards, move away from the ball. You pull, you keep the ball in front, and then you just chop it through. That gives the defender or the other player the impression that you're off center of gravity and he is able to tackle you. And as well, you have to get around the player, the defender. If he comes here and he stops, he's gonna try to force to stop you. He's gonna put his leg in, he's gonna put his leg in, he's gonna put his arm in, so you have to go all the way around it. That's why it's so crucial. The player comes, you move backward step, chop it through, go around the player, and then start off quickly. Otherwise, the skill is useless. Even though you nutmegged him, if he recovers the ball after you or blocks you off the ball, that's not a good skill, not successful. Okay, we have one more look at it. Player comes, you dribble, you fall backwards, step, chop through, get around his leg and around his arm, get on top of the ball and start off. Be very careful to choose the skill and the situation you use it in. Only use this skill when all the components come together. He has the right speed, he's not gonna be able to stop, you have the right body position, you move backward step, chop it through, and then get around. We're going to have a look at skills variation number 2 and number 3, which gives your game more variety. You can't just rely on the nutmeg, which you can rarely use, especially on a professional level. Okay, variation number 2 looks like this. The same skill. We step, we push, inside, inside, push. Okay, so with this skill, it's very important that we don't fall back and go away from the ball, because then we can't push the ball. For this skill is very useful if the defender comes, but he is not fully committed to run through. You can see he's coming and he's going to be able to stop a little bit over here. Or if you want to go into the defender. Skills variation 1 with the nutmeg rarely works if you go into the defender. If you do the skill into the defender and do the skill, a good defender is doing this movement. He comes and moves backwards. So there's no way you're going to nutmeg him while you push onto him. This variation number 2 allows you to dribble onto your player or to get out of a tight spot if he's not fully committed with running through you and getting stuck. It looks like this. We're staying more on top of the ball. We have a touch, we step over, and then we have a push, and the push goes around the leg of the player. You can also do this running onto the player. You come, and then you move the other direction and move away. Critical factor here is don't get too wide, don't be too far back. Out of this position you can't get around, you have to get on top of the ball to run off. Keep your feet close together, soft touch, step, push, guide, and get around the player. Variation number 3 is your player gets stuck in front of you. That means like he's not committing to the direction when you can use number 1, and number 2 when you dribble onto him. Number 3 is the defender comes and then he commits, but then he stops after your first feint. So if you come over here and then after you do this one and the step over and you see the defender commits in that direction, what you're gonna do is push, push, and then you go that way. So you do a double push onto the other side. So you double feint him because he's already on that foot, stuck. He's not gonna move back and then he's out of the game. Looks like this. Step, push, 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 and then we go that direction. Make sure you get the timing right. Let the player come. If you feel like he's getting stuck, push, push, and then you keep going that direction. Critical factors here. This skill, you don't want to use it if you feel like he keeps chasing that direction. Then you use number 1 or number 2, ideally number 2. One of the biggest differences between an amateur and a professional is a professional has way more variety in his skills. That means he can do one skill in different variations, so he has different solutions for those problems, football problems. And also he's able to execute it with both of his legs. An amateur most of the time uses his strong foot, uses one skill he feels very comfortable with. That's why it's very important you try to strive for perfection. You try to aim for being a professional and working on that level even in your training. So try to master all 3 skills. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know which is your favorite variation and which one is the easiest to learn for you in the comment section below. Comment, like, share. See you next time.